Hi everyone, this video is entitled Informal Proof of Angle-Angle Similarity. And if you notice up in the title here, I have AA after angle-angle. Alright, and that's just a way we're going to abbreviate angle-angle instead of writing that out. And what this is trying to do, or what we're trying to do here, is to take two triangles that may be similar or are similar and do like a very informal proof. Now, you guys are used to math being, plugging into equations or calculating something. Another side of math, especially with geometry, and we've been dealing with geometry for a while now, another side of math and geometry is the idea of proving things are congruent or proving things are similar, etc. Alright, and if you take a look at the box right below the title on your note packet, it says, if two triangles have two corresponding angles that are congruent, then the triangles are similar. Alright, so let's pick apart this sentence and just understand what the words are saying, because there's a few, or at least one, new piece of terminology here that you need to understand. Alright, this is pretty basic. If two triangles, so we have two triangles down here in exercise 1, and that's pretty obvious, but they use this term corresponding angles. Alright, I'm just going to underline that one. Not much of a line, but you know what I mean. Alright, and what we mean by corresponding angles is that if you were to take this, let's say we take this this big triangle right here, and if we were to do a dilation to shrink it down like we've talked about before, and then do like a transformation, like maybe a rotation or a reflection or a combination of those, maybe a translation, to align the new triangle, the one that we've shrunk down, with this triangle, we could have angles that would be basically on top of each other. Alright, and if you remember, we talked about this with two parallel lines cut by a transversal. We talked about corresponding angles. We had maybe this angle right here and this angle right there. They were corresponding, and we kind of used the same idea. If you moved this set of angles down on top of this set, these two that I put the stars on, they would be on top of each other. Alright? Well, you got to think of the same idea with these triangles down here. Alright? And let's just keep talking about corresponding angles. If I look at this angle right here, this angle B, they tell me it is 80 degrees. Alright? Well, if I go over to this triangle, well, it looks like this is B prime down here. That would be the corresponding angle with B. In other words, if I took the dilation, shrunk it down, and then did a congruence to translate it, reflect it, or rotate it, or what have you, so that it's on top of this triangle, well, this angle B would be on top of angle B prime. So those two are corresponding angles. Alright? I could take it a step further and talk about this angle C right here. That would correspond with angle C prime over on this triangle. Alright, so it says if two triangles have two corresponding angles, that's important that it has two corresponding angles that are congruent, and we've talked before about the word congruent. That means the same or equal to. Then, this is the big finish, then the triangles are similar. Okay, and that is basically what we are trying to do in these exercises, is look at the two triangles they give us and see if they have two corresponding angles, two pairs of corresponding angles that are congruent. Then we're going to make the conclusion that the triangles are similar. Alright, and again, that's different than what you guys are used to in math. You're used to plugging in numbers and calculating things and such, and this is different in that we're just trying to prove something to be true. Okay, it may not always work. You may not be able to prove it, but this is one way that you're going to do it, is see if I have two corresponding angles that are congruent. So if we go down to exercise 1, well, you just have to ask yourself, do you have two corresponding angles that are congruent? All right, and you in fact do. You have, and this is what I would do. I would list it here. We could say angle B, and please start using the angle. What do I want to say? The angle notation. Had a little mental block there. The angle notation. This is angle B is congruent to angle B prime. Alright, and notice I use my congruent symbol right here because they're both 80 degrees, so that means they're congruent. And also, angle C is congruent to angle C prime. Alright, well, here's one angle, and here's the other angle. So you've got two angles that are corresponding, and they're congruent. Well, that allows you to conclude, and here's a little abbreviation I'm going to tell you guys. This is kind of like in conclusion, all right, or thus, okay, allows you to conclude something. Then I'm going to conclude that triangle ABC is similar to, remember our symbol for similar to, triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. All right, and I want you to notice one thing here. That's my answer right there. All right, really, I'm done with exercise 1 right now, but I also want you to understand one more thing. I intentionally put A first here because it corresponds, and I put A prime here first because they correspond. See how that comes first and this comes first over there. I intentionally put B second, and I put B prime second as well because, again, they correspond. And the same thing with C corresponds with C prime. Guys, that's really important. Alright, that is not just for kicks and giggles. That is definitely the way you want to note these things. You want to line up the corresponding angles. Alright, so as far as the answer to the problem though, this is it right here. That's your final answer. You have to have these parts though as well because you have to prove this part. Alright, you have to prove this first part. You have to tell me, do you have two corresponding angles that are congruent? Only then can you conclude that part. Alright? So that is number 1. Let me take away this picture and let me put on the next one here. Okay? And exercise 2 is the same problem. Prove that two triangles are similar by angle angle. Alright? And when they say by angle angle, this is what they're trying to get you to do right here. Prove to me that you have two corresponding angles that are congruent, then the triangles are similar. Okay? So we need 1 and we need 2. So do we have this? Let's take a look at these two triangles and let's match them up. Angle A would match up with angle A prime. Angle B would match up with angle B prime, and they do not match up. Alright? Angle B, and I'm going to write this right over here, angle B is not congruent. Now, see, I'll put that little slash through it. Angle B is not congruent to angle B prime. Okay? And what about C and C prime? Well, same thing. Angle C looks like that says 32 degrees, and angle C prime is 28 degrees. Oops, I don't want to put 28. I want to put C prime. Okay? So, in conclusion, I'm going to do that same thing, those three little dots. Thus, I like to say it like that. Thus, henceforth, in conclusion, I can say triangle ABC is not, I'm going to put that slash through it again, is not similar to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Alright? So hopefully that is making sense to you. Again, to answer the question fully, this is, guys, I want you to do this. You need to tell me this. This is like your reasoning. This is you're proving to me that you know what you're talking about. And then I want you to put this to say, here's my conclusion. All right? It's kind of like writing a persuasive paper in English class. You know, here's your reasons for your argument, and then you have your conclusion down here. All right? Okay, hopefully that is making sense. Let me get rid of exercise 2. We're going to turn that one off. And here's exercise 3. All right? And again, same thing. Prove that the two triangles are similar by angle. So I need two angles. All right, I'm going to try to list them right here. Let's see if we can match them up. Angle A, well, that is matching up with A prime over here, and that's 44 degrees. So they gave me angle A prime, but they didn't give me angle A. All right, angle B is matching up with B prime over here. Well, they did it again. They gave me one and not the other. All right, how about angle C? Oh, that's a good thing. That's good. Angle C is congruent to angle C prime. All right, I'm going to put that one right up here. So I have one, right? I have one that are congruent, one pair that are congruent. Now, don't jump to conclusions, though. A lot of you guys are probably saying, oh, well, I don't have the other angles. I don't know what they are. They must not be congruent. All right, let's try to figure these out. They gave me two of the angles over here. Well, we should know from our work before that these angles, if I don't know this one, these three angles in a triangle should add up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to do a little math, and I'm going to say, well, this one is 88 and this one's 48. I'm going to add those, and then if I add the one that I don't know, they should all add up to 180. Okay, and now I'm going to do my math. 88 and 48, that gives me 136. Okay, and I'm going to solve for x. I'm going to try to figure out what x is. So I'm going to take away 136 from both sides. I'm going to go this side of the equation, and I'm going to go on this side of the equation. Alright, and x is equal to, how much would that be? 44 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to put right down in here, this is 44 degrees. Okay, now if you didn't follow what I'm doing with the equation here, we're going to work more with equations throughout this whole year. So if you didn't get it, basically what I did is I add these two together, 88, 48, and I subtracted it from 180. Alright, and that gave me the 44. So now let's see what I have. I have angle A is 44, and angle A prime is also 44. So hey, there's my second angle. So I had to do a little work for that one. Alright, so they gave me this one right off the bat. They gave me it right in the picture. This one I had to do a little work. Alright, and figure one of them out. And guess what? If I would have picked angle B, if I would have picked B prime over here, guess what? This would have come out to be 88 degrees. Alright, so I could have used that one as well. Alrighty, so I've done my job. I've done this proof up here. I've figured out that the two triangles, they have corresponding angles that are congruent. And so again, what can I conclude? I do my three little dots. I'm going to conclude that triangle. Oops, I need triangle, not angle. Take that away. Alright, oh, lost one of my dots. Alright, triangle ABC is in fact similar to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, and again, guys, this is what I want to see on your papers. Is I want these two angles listed. Tell me which ones are congruent. Or you're going to tell me they're not congruent. In the exercise before, they were not congruent. And then you're going to make a conclusion as to whether they are similar or not. And in this case, they are similar. Alrighty? Just remember, they don't always tell you everything. You might have to do a little work to figure out one of the angles, or both of the angles, or two of the angles, or three of the angles, or what have you. But the math part of this, I don't think is very difficult. Alright, so there's your three exercises for the night. If you need to watch it again, please do so, and have a good night. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.